What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Beats Per Minute, where hip hop, health, and matters of art are always in sync. I am your host, Miss Thursday, and you see who's to my left, so that means that it's time for a pulse check. What's going on, Tayrn?
Mama,
Been a minute since we've been on here.
I know, right?
I missed you, missed you.
I miss you.
so, you know, uh since we took our little hiatus, a lot of stuff has been going on.
Girl,
It's been real cool starting back up, but I definitely have been waiting to have, our monthly conversation and just check in. And for those that don't know, every month at the end of the month, our last episode is always going to be a pulse check, and we'll be talking a lot about different happenings in the community, especially the hip hop space, but definitely heavy on the mental health and how it affects us, because it's really important that we are not just taking care of our physical state, but our mental state. And that we're, just checking in. So, this month we've been talking a lot about, heart awareness. February was Heart Awareness Month. So all of the conversations I have been, talking about us having a heart to heart conversation. So today is no different. I have a little heart to heart conversation with my friend, you know, and my daughter and co-host. She's a lot of things to me, but I'm definitely enjoying it. What's up, B? What's
hi.
going on? Thank you for checking in.
Hi. That was a great, great intro.
It was it.
It was a great introduction.
All right. So what we want to talk about today? I'm gonna let you lead. This situation.
Okay, well, so I do want to kind of go into some dream talk.
Oh, okay.
So I want us to be able to set our intentions for this year when it comes to the podcast
Hmm.
and where we want it to go this year, just speaking things into existence.
Hmm.
Um, just because I feel like it'll be nice to see, like, at the end
Okay.
of the year, what we've actually been able to accomplish. Um,
Hmm.
because, like I told you, when we were talking about the award show,
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Slow your
when we were
roll.
talking
We just
about that award
started.
show, I was just like, I was thinking how crazy it was because no one, like, it came out of nowhere, kind of, for me personally.
It
But,
is for me, but we'll get into that.
but,
So,
yeah.
before we get into the dream talk, I want to definitely give a shout out to Back to the Lab. Appreciate you for checking in tonight, and definitely, you guys join in the conversation. This we'll be doing a lot of talking, but we wanted to talk back to you guys. So as we see your comments, we'll be responding. So with the dream talk, I know that I probably drive y'all crazy. I come up with these ideas and I'm like, I want to do this and that. And, super producer, Ash is always like, write it down because we don't know what's in your brain. And
Yeah.
so I know what I would love to see, but I would love to see and hear what your thoughts are for the podcast.
Okay. So,
Okay, Ashley, calm down.
so for me, I want to say that, like, at the beginning of this year, at like
Mhm,
midnight on New Year's, I wrote
mhm,
myself this long, like, just letter.
mhm,
And it was truly just how I felt about coming into the podcast space, especially like when I feel like I'm stepping into your vision, because
Mm-hmm.
this is something that um you had the vision and wanted to include me. And so I know that one of the things that has been hard for me with the podcast is because, like, of course, I love hip hop. Of course, health is important, but also there is kind of a disconnect. There has been kind of a disconnect when it comes to like me joining in certain conversations because it is hard. Like it's hard, especially when I don't have necessarily like relationships with those people. It does
Mm-hmm.
make it a little bit hard. Um, so also it's not necessarily my lane. Like health stuff, yeah, I'm very conscious of those things, but it's also like physical health is important to, to you, and mental health is my thing, all
Mm-hmm.
things, because that I don't know, it's just something about the idea that like I guess because I'm on my own mental health journey where it's just like I want to have more conversations
Mm-hmm.
about that. And so I think a little bit you did compromise when it came to
I don't
making
feel
sure
like I
that
did. And you're going to be like, your mind is going to be blown when I tell you what was just downloaded to me. So continue.
okay, so yes, but I just it's like I wanted to be a part of it because I told you that I would do this with you. I would go on
Mm-hmm.
this journey with you, and I just didn't know how to contribute. And it like that bothers me because it's like I don't want to be I'm not one of those people that I like to just waste space. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing something, like I feel like I have to add value to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to me that this year I figure out where I am and how I add value to like these conversations.
I got you. So I think that is really interesting because over the last couple years, since Auntie Ayana had that whole one episode of generation conversation,
Hmm.
that I've been very intentional about being mindful of the generation that I'm speaking to, and when
Hmm.
I'm speaking to you guys, that I no longer just assume that you feel and think the way that I feel and think. That we may have a lot of similarities. We may have a lot of the same experiences, but they're coming from a different place just because of the generation we were born in. So, as you were speaking that, I was just thinking about the idea of where we are in hip hop, right? So, even coming out of this 50th year, there's been like this idea of, okay, where we are in hip hop as far as the artists that are here now, and like people feeling like oh, they should sound like this or they should look like this because this isn't real hip hop, this is just
Yeah.
and I can't get into that and all of the other stuff. But I realized especially when you start talking about with Killer Mike, there was a lot of conversation, especially in the Atlanta area, when Killer Mike, did that sweep that he did at the Grammys, right? Like, why don't you know who Killer Mike is to a
Hmm.
younger generation? And, one gentleman, I can't think of his name, I apologize. He was, he's an influencer and he was online. He was the
Oh,
one that was
Ty
like,
Scott.
yeah, he's like, who's Killer Mike? And they're like, how you don't know? And they really attacked him about it. And so he came back, he said, listen, I listened to the album. The album was cool. And it's still not what I am into. He was like,
Hmm.
you guys have to realize that for y'all were into very lyrical, driven music, and we are looking for a vibe. Like, that's not my vibe. So the disconnect has been you thinking that I need you to be in the same space as me, and I don't. my generation was the physical generation. We were the ones that you was leaving a party soaking wet because you was dancing and sweating.
Yeah.
You guys are looking for the vibe. It's more about how is it making me feel up here. So you are as much needed in this space as I'm trying to be, because you can't have a good physical state without a good mental state. It's just not
Yeah.
possible. So, in that aspect, I want you to really understand how much you bring to this space if you allow yourself to really like dive in and just really be the dope person that I know you to be, and join in the conversation, because what you have to bring is totally outside of what I have to bring. We all bring something to the table, just like, Ash does as being the producer. So, and that was just a download that just happened as you were speaking. So,
Mhm.
for everybody that don't really truly understand, this podcast was really actually just a God-given idea. Listen, he is definitely more, to me, he's more of a regional ATL rapper, I feel like, but I know that a lot of people are still trying to keep him in that, you know what I mean? Because I don't think that he's celebrated and as really revered as much as he should. Like, he's always been, to me, a dope rapper. I think that Michael, the album, just really opened up the door for something different, because it really was it really took you on a journey if you really pay attention and listen to it. And I just think that for our generation, we needed that. And he should have had more competition from our generation. That's my thought process. It was funny because somebody was posted, I think it was New Face posted Andre 3000. He's had a couple different shows, like, here a couple days this week. And he's like, maybe he may think about, he wouldn't mind rapping again, because he
Yeah.
does like rapping. And they're like, kind of side eyeing him. And I'm like, maybe it took a Killer Mike doing a Michael to really kind of make him see, like, we still need you in this space. Who knows? I mean, will we get more than the flute? Who knows? We'll see. All we can do is, you know. But I do think that my thought process when it comes to beats per minute is, yes, it's cool, having the interviews with different people. A lot of people, I have been blessed to have meet along this journey, whether it was someone that just heard what I was doing and was like, yo, I think what you're doing is dope and I want to be a part of it. Or, one of Uncle Collins's friends, saying like, yeah, I would love to be on the show because I want to support, you, or whatever the case might be. So my dream talk is that I just hope that we do a good enough job that people realize that the difference between coming here and coming to someone that may have like a lot of followers or whatever is that my goal isn't just for us to just have conversations. My goal is for us to collect the stories. I want artists that usually don't get the shine or the attention that they deserve to add to the story, because I think that the problem with hip hop is there's a lot of conversation, but the narrative, depending on who's having that conversation, the narrative is very interesting. And that I want to make sure that people know that they can be heard and they'll definitely be seen here. I also, want to make sure that people really understand how important it is for us to get some real health education and literacy in this space, because we are really losing so many people on a rapid level. And of course, death is inevitable, but I just
Yeah.
feel like the age group that we're losing people should not be happening. And
Well, it's
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, it's crazy because it feels the age, like the age requirements, or like the age that most people start getting like certain tests done. I don't think people are realizing just how much it seems like all of them. have dropped, like all of them.
Mhm.
Maybe like at a certain point they say you might need a pap smear around this age, right? That age has changed. Like everything is younger now. So
Mhm.
that tells that tells us that these are no longer things that are just affecting like people past a certain age.
Mhm.
Like for some reason, we are now seeing like these things are getting us younger and younger. And it's like it doesn't really seem to be like a conversation until somebody super young just is gone. And then
Right.
it's just like, well, why is somebody in their 20s dying from like a heart related condition? And it's like
Mhm.
like we they don't tell us these things, especially like if you're not somebody that regularly like sees a doctor,
Mhm.
you're not gonna be up to know that hey, now the age for these things you need to be tested when you're like 25 or
Mhm.
your 30s.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when it comes to our health, you have to be your own advocate. So it doesn't even matter what they say the health requirement is. If your family is prone to, heart disease, then that's something that should be being monitored way earlier than maybe the norm. Because, just like in our family, Alzheimer's was very prevalent with, my grandmother and her sisters and brothers. So that's not something that's going to be uncommon, but it's like I think that sometimes um we forget that we do have a right to advocate for ourselves. We have a right to decide that if this doctor isn't working for me, that I need to find another doctor. That if someone is not willing to go the extra mile to figure out why I'm having these symptoms, I have a right to say no. I need you to do XYZ because something still doesn't feel right. Go ahead.
One thing that um when it comes to physical health that I've noticed is you know how they talk about like healthcare disparities, right? And how we like black people, especially like black women, when it comes to healthcare disparity, like it's killing us. Like it is
Mhm.
literally killing us.
Mhm.
And when we have those conversations, I also think about the fact that in healthcare, it still seems to be very white centric. Like when you think about like what how they're studying symptoms, who's to say that those symptoms are going to look the same in someone white opposed to somebody that has some type of ethnic like background? Who's
Mhm.
to say that when you're looking at a woman, she's gonna have like those things look different. And so it kind of blows my mind that we're still in a space where it's like they're still not studying what those symptoms look like in different groups of people
Mhm.
because like I think I was um watching 911 like just randomly, and it was like this guy, his wife had a stroke, and he didn't know because she just had hiccups, like the
Mhm.
hiccups
Mhm.
worse, and that's a sign that typically you see in women when something is happening. So it's very crazy to me how we're so far advanced when it comes to technology and things, but we're still seeing healthcare from a very male dominated white centric type of point of view that doesn't help any of us
Yeah. Well,
because
and that's in those one of the biggest reasons because, I think that we do live in a time where we have um so much more information out there. The information is at our fingertips. And it can be very frustrating and time consuming and very expensive when you're someone of color who may not present the textbook symptoms of someone, of Caucasian or whatever race, and because we also live very stress filled lives, sometimes we ignore our symptoms because we just assume that, oh, it's just because I was stressed. Like, I just got to calm down. I just got to relax. I just got to whatever. And so we don't go seek medical attention as much as we should. But there's a lot of groups out there now. I was really sad because last week I really, was kind of fighting this cold and decided to stay home. And I had quite a few events that I wanted to go to. One of them was Live to the Beat, the campaign that was created through the CDC. And it's all about, you know, Black women, people of color, really understanding, how to get heart healthy and those small steps you need to take. You have like like Hip Hop Public Health that really puts out a lot of information about, public health concerns, and, and trying to use hip hop to really make people understand like different things and different symptoms that you should look out for. You have like even the Black Heart Association. They was just recently on the Breakfast Club, and they were telling their story about what it looked like for her when she had a heart attack. Definitely doesn't look the same for everybody. And I was just talking to someone recently where they had no idea that they had been actively having a heart attack. They just felt like they were having some kind of indigestion, or they just was really stressed out that day. Someone, even complaining of just, they had a real bad headache. They're laying down and thinking they're okay. And that person didn't wake up because they actually had an aneurysm. So it's like we sometimes have gotten to the point where we don't go seek medical help. When we do, they don't pay attention to what the symptoms we're giving, or they stop short of like, oh, well, it's just this. Oh, well, it's
Yeah.
just that. And, and I was telling one of my coworkers today that it was kind of funny, like, at different times, me and you have had those conversations, like, where's House when you need them? Like, where's a House, a type of doctor that will be like, you know, yeah, we're going to put you through liver failure, but we're going to figure out what this bump is on your leg, type of thing. Because a lot of times you don't have medical professionals that's like, no, something is definitely going on with my patient. I want to figure out what this is. And and they don't really go after. And to Ashley's point, they do try to downplay everything to mental health. I was telling a coworker, today, unfortunately, the journey that our producer has gone on, where when you're going through something and you don't know what it is, you become anxious, because you're scared. And so sometimes, a lot of times, instead of really taking that time to really like pay attention and figure out, they'll just be quick to say, oh, well, it's anxiety. So we'll give you some medication for anxiety, and that'll mask the actual physical symptoms that you were having that was causing the anxiousness in the first place. I did miss the comment that was up. Executive life, going to the doctors is a stigma in many urban. Absolutely, because like we can't pretend like the Tuskegee experiment didn't happen. We can't pretend that we didn't learn through history how Black women, slaves, or were used basically to kind of progress what different surgeries that we now see today. We
Man, listen, when you want to talk about when it comes, like, I think when it comes to these things, it's very interesting to me because it's like, okay, so we are looking at history and we see how many like marginalized groups are
Mhm.
responsible just for the way it, like for the medical advancements. Because even when we talk about like birth control, they went to what was it, Puerto Rico, and
Mhm.
was giving these women birth control and not telling them what this was gonna do to their body. Like, so I get it Because yes, we have historically been done wrong by the medical establishment.
Yeah.
When we
But
talk
isn't it
about
crazy that we're the ones that's used to figure out how to advance medical practices, but yet we're the least to be treated with those same medical practices.
sounds about black, because like, of course we're good for, like, when y'all want to find something, we're good for that. We're
Mhm.
always the good, like, you can use us until y'all are done with us, and
Yeah.
then when y'all actually have to do something that benefits us, nah. Because gynecology, we know how that went. So the fact that, like, black women are directly responsible for
Hmm.
the fact that, like, that, like, that whole, what's it called, what is it called, like, field,
Hmm.
can be linked back to us because they used our bodies during these things, right?
Hmm.
But yet, when it comes to, like, black women having babies, we're still dying.
Yeah.
So like, okay, how that makes sense to anybody, strange.
Yeah.
We are still seeing in 2024. Did they not, just like the family of Henrietta Lacks, just get some type of just due? Because they are
Still fighting. Yeah.
still using those cells,
Yeah.
and did not feel like they needed to give her descendants anything.
A thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yes, we historically we've been done wrong, but also we dying out here. So it's
And
a
it's not
very,
just, at the end of the day, we also have to take responsibility as well. I know that in our community, like I said, you have, like Executive Light said, the stigmatism. We
hmm
also know that we have the prejudice,
hmm
but we also have to realize that we are very bad about also making sure that we're taking responsibility for our health. You know, we have came become accustomed to, well, my auntie and them had diabetes, so ain't no big deal that I have it. And we, and that's like the level that we continue into. I think as a nurse, the most frustrating thing that I heard, like, when you think back during COVID, was when it became this idea that, oh, because I'm black, I can't get COVID. And it was like, Negro, literally everything that puts you more at risk for like dying from COVID, black people have. Like, so how could you not get COVID? Like,
bro.
how?
They
I,
would.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand that
It
at
was
all.
very strange to me because I would see it on social media, like, black people, we can't get COVID, and
Like, we
then
good.
days
We
later,
wasn't.
I see CNN, and they're talking about the fact that, like, I don't know if it was California or something, but they were talking about the fact that, hey, minorities are dying, like, black people was dying from this at much higher rates.
I think that if they would have came out with a movie and just showed all that kind of the conversation around COVID, we would have laughed. We would have never believed that anything like that could have ever happened. Like, we went from they paying actors to tell us that COVID is real to black people can't get COVID to they created this to kill off black people. It was like, which one is it? Like, did they create it to kill us or we can't get it? Like, I'm just trying to figure out, because
Listen,
everybody ain't got O positive blood. So, like, I'm trying to understand.
and let me tell you, if you listen, the ancestors might not be that proud of me, because I was definitely like, when they come out with that shot, I might see what it's hitting for. Like, I might have to see
You was
what's
okay with,
hitting.
if you lost a limb or something, you
Yeah,
just had a
because
little
what I
tick.
can't what I can't do is have lung, like, I my lungs. y'all saying I could get blood clots? Y'all saying like I could really die from this? I
And the
might
scary thing
need.
is that again, we are now in 2024. So we are now right at that phase where, stuff was getting shut down 4 years ago. And I don't feel, even as a medical professional, that we are any closer to really truly understanding what all we have been dealing with. Still, COVID is still out in them streets.
If you
COVID
want
is
to talk about
still around, but
trauma,
people are dying at a very young age from the weirdest stuff, and nobody can explain why. But it definitely is like some type of, like all related back to like a blood clot or something like that. So then it's like, oh, well, they just had got a booster, or they just got, like, we still don't quite know anything.
and
And generally, the sad thing is, even though COVID is not new, COVID-19 was just a variant that, was very different than what they
okay,
had dealt with before.
let's really get into the real of this because
Okay.
what was getting on my nerves, me personally,
You're okay.
everybody was a disease control specialist. Everybody knew
Listen,
everything
you
about
didn't
virus.
know that there is some very smart people out there. People have degrees beyond, like,
Bro,
being
bro,
doctors. They know everything, and they knew how to heal. They knew what you needed to do. They knew
bro.
everything.
First of all, this how see this why like Dr. Sebi gotta pay for his crimes because for some reason I don't know what that was going on, but I think that was like the precipice of somebody who made people think they knew what they was talking about. Because, like I said, for some reason, everybody been studying diseases. It's everybody knew everything about everything, bro,
They still do.
bro.
The internet
What?
has made it possible where you could have dropped out of the 6th grade, but you can become the authority. I'll say that in my Tink voice. I wanted to say it like that. But the authority on pretty much anything. Um, Listen, Trent Water was good. I don't care what you say. I think Trent Water is the only reason why we're still here. I personally believe that it was
But my
something in
thing
that water
is, y'all
besides
have
the peppers.
literally.
I think it kept us from a lot of things.
What bothered me is these people. These are the same people who mama still got their shot records, and I can tell because if y'all talk about the COVID, it came out too quickly. If y'all think that they ain't have like, what's the point of research if y'all think that during a global pandemic it's supposed to take years and years and years for that?
Well, I mean, let's even stop that now. The thing is that, you know, uh, the vaccine that was originally being created had nothing to do with the idea of, it was being created because they knew that they needed, it was, just like a lot of medications where you see now that people are using a lot of, a lot of diabetic medications to help with weight loss. They just find that certain things will
And y'all
help with
gonna need to
something
pay for
else.
y'all crimes too. Leave that Ozempic alone.
It's beyond Ozempic. They're using all
Them
diabetic
people
meds is being
need.
used
It's
now.
people out here that actually need that.
Yeah, but they don't care. There's a lot of people, a lot of
But my thing
doctors that are
is,
prescribing a lot of
until this
people these
until this day,
medications.
you still have people that be like, anytime somebody gets sick, oh, it was that vaccine. Y'all was talking about this, that, and the other. Baby, at this point, one of them vaccines, it's a cocktail in me at this point in time. Like, what are we talking about? What are we even talking about? Bro, I don't know half the stuff that like is in my bloodstream that was supposed to protect me. But what I do know is I ain't never had the chicken pox. Is it the shot? Maybe.
I
Or
mean,
maybe
I
the
have. I've had the chickenpox. I've had the shot. I've been around a bunch of people, and I'm still not immune. So there, I mean, what
And
you know?
so, if y'all think that this is a new virus, for some reason the word strain doesn't seem to like make sense in people's mind. Strain, it just something about that
Well,
did
it's
not
just
seem.
because up until really, COVID-19 hit in the way it hit, nobody really ever heard COVID before. And everybody took out the idea of like, okay, it's COVID-19. That's because the strand was found in 2019, but there's been several, and also the other problem was then we then had all these other strands of this one strand, that variants that just kept going. And the scary thing for me was it was like, how sometimes you just accidentally hit something on your phone and maybe it might go to Google and it shows news or something like that. It was like a few weeks ago, like the World, like Health Organization was meeting to discuss like a virus that hasn't been out yet or anything. Like they're planning for something that will be worse than COVID-19, but it's not real.
Because
And I'm like, yeah, it's real, but y'all just say, oh, it's not real. We're just trying to prepare.
bro,
No, it's something else coming. And I almost feel like it's already here.
we are literally talking about the fact that they have been saying, like scientists have been saying, a lot of these viruses that are like happening is some old world type stuff.
Mm,
Oh, so there's also environmental factors in there.
yeah.
Y'all don't want y'all don't want to stop spraying cans in the air. Y'all just want to litter all over. Y'all want to cut down all these trees. Guess what? Virus. Because guess what? Them ice caps melting. That's the only thing that's been keeping us, okay, from the big bad. That's the only thing.
And I mean, and you could imagine if something was big bad years ago, and we've been on this earth for however long and created all these chemicals and all this other stuff. Like we're not creating something brand new that could be worse than something back when the world was a little bit more pure, where the food was more natural. Like I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, pollution is way worse than what it had to be back then. And I mean, like, when I'm just, come on now. What was polluting the earth?
Girl, see, this is why I be trying to tell people. For some reason, I think we have that might have been in the Bible, when Jesus and them
I'm
was
just even
around.
I'm not even talking about even back then. I'm talking about, okay, like let's go to before cars were invented, before the steamboat, before they even started using coal, before they did any
Girl,
of these things, like when
they
you
had
just had maybe
syphilis.
a fire.
Syphilis syphilis was taking them people out. You hear me?
Okay. I said environmental. I ain't talking about because people want to be freaky and whatnot.
Okay, so scarlet fever. The people was getting took out.
Right. Okay. But I'm talking about even now, we still can have all those things, but we have chemical things now that can cause even greater issues
Yeah,
besides just what kind of comes, like, I mean, naturally. We deal with
yeah.
bacteria and viruses and fungal, fungi and all that stuff. But we also now have
Girl,
all
I
this other
I get
stuff.
it. No, I understand what you're saying. But when I
She said, not the
all I
big
know
bad thing.
is what I do know is the rats was messing them people up over
The
there.
rats.
It was them rats that was messing them people up over there across the ocean. Okay, the bubonic plague was taking folks
Who's taking people
so many since like we've been in that space where it's just like, eh,
out?
eh.
All right. So I'm going to, because you went on this whole other thing, you never actually talked about the dream talk and your vision for the podcast. So let's come back to that.
Okay. So when I think about the podcast, what I really want to just speak for this, like speak out, put it in the universe, is that I do want to have um, conversations that really are important to me because, one, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm nosy.
Hmm.
I'm very nosy. I like knowing people's business.
Okay.
But also, I also like the fact that I feel like certain conversations can there's there's something about certain conversations that I want to have where I feel like it heals me as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's my goal is this year I want to have conversations that not only heal me but can heal other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um so that's important. Also, I don't know. I do want to be more active when it comes to actually like getting out and with the podcast, you know? Like since we're here, it's hard to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but you be having fun, girl.
Listen, when you get here,
I
friend,
want to have fun.
it's gonna be on the popping. That's all I'm
Ooh, I
saying.
want to have
You know,
fun.
speaking of which, we have something coming up that you'll definitely be here for. You know what I'm saying? 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 So I mean, you kind of mentioned about the award show earlier, but girl, how you feel being nominated for the Yo ATL Raps award show?
You know, when you told us
Hmm.
this, one of the first things I had in my mind is the conversation we had when you asked me, did I want to co-host the podcast? And I think you said, do you trust me? And I was like, "Hmm,
I'm not.
yeah, of course. Uh, but this ain't got nothing to do with trust because you want me to talk about stuff. Ugh. But I did it anyway.
Okay.
I did it anyway. And so I thought back on that conversation and I'm like, I know I'm not going to be able to tell her nothing from this point on. So maybe it's best that from now on, I bet on Thurs.
You
Might
know
be
what I'm
it.
saying? I mean, come on. I don't know why you wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why you
No, I
wouldn't.
be I be I be doing that. I be
You
betting
know,
on you.
you be
I be
betting on
betting
me.
on
I appreciate you, friend, because
you.
that jacket you made for me. I got mad compliments. Like you that
Thank
jacket
you.
definitely killed. We really want to kill them with the next jackets and t-shirts because we ain't going. We got maybe
Also
something new
that.
coming.
That's I
We
think
ain't
that's
going to tell.
another.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
thank,
think that's
thank
an
you, thank you,
an
Miss Kalela. We
yes.
appreciate it. We are looking forward to it. Cause listen, I want to just say this. I did get an opportunity to, shout out to, you know, so you got to hit Tayrn. Tayrn is the jacket maker. Now I'm just going to say that, but I want to give a shout out to Atlanta Tucky. They, are the brewing company of the Nappy Roots. A couple of members own that here in Atlanta. They had a really, really nice event for their second year anniversary. And the young bloods was in the building. I could not enjoy them how I wanted to because there was a 6'4", like 385-pound man. I feel like I might be exaggerating a few pounds, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not. But he was behind me, and immediately when the beat dropped, somehow we were getting pushed like towards the stage, and I was like, time to go. So I had to enjoy it from the back. It felt like, Freak Nick was probably about to pop off again or something. And yes, we will discuss. But I'm excited to see them performing at the award show, as well as a lot of the artists that we enjoy listening to. I mean, I don't even know what this going to be. I don't care if we win. I'm going to have fun. Mr. Cheeks is going to be in the building. That's all I got to say.
Listen, this is the thing, and I have already sufficiently warned you, my sister in Christ, that I'm about to be in rare form.
I'm gonna let you have it, friend. I ain't going to say nothing to you that night. You listen. I think we might even get super producer like back to the swamp type of Ashley. I think she might be the one that we might have to pull up out of there. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. That's all I'm saying. So, as you can see, if y'all would love to see us win, hit that, hit that link at the bottom, yo.
If you love
Go
black
vote
people,
for
love
us,
black women, and care about love black girls' dreams, and just want to help me out and
you know.
do like help me be a good person and follow stuff that I'm supposed to follow, then you will vote for us.
If
Because
you feel like Tayrn um and this show needs to really remember that they need to bet on Thursday, go vote, okay? Because we need to really prove that. I appreciate all of you guys for voting. Make sure you share. We votes are open until the 20th of April, so go ahead, get them votes in before get lit. We appreciate it, but we definitely going to have adult time. Definitely going to enjoy that. Hey, today is the last day of February. Tomorrow starts one of my favorite months, only because our song just is what is going to be our next pause check. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about it all day. I can't wait for our next pause check because it will be officially March Madness. Thank you, Future, for that great song. We appreciate you. But yeah, March is about to be lit, yo. There's a lot going on in March. Definitely the Freak Nick documentary is coming. Um, that's going to be fun. And if somebody's having a viewing, I want to be invited. I just feel like it would be appropriate to go and watch it amongst the people. You know what I'm saying?
at this point, I'm not sure. You know, I was all for it. I don't know. This this might not be the best time. It's a lot going on. Uh, a lot of people have been catching cases lately, and I
Listen,
don't.
we're not going to start talking about that, but I definitely, um, definitely don't know, what if things go down the way that things went down with another um R&B singer, you know, and how they cancel him. That would mean like most of the golden era of hip hop would be completely erased if they try to cancel oh boy right now, cuz it's a lot. I don't know. Did you watch or listen today to some of the stuff that supposedly came from that last little lawsuit you were telling me about?
I
Girl,
read
everybody
it.
is. I mean, like everybody is in it.
I read it. The whole thing.
It's too
Because
much.
yes,
It's too much.
I want to be in people's business.
uh,
I read it. I ooh. That's why I text you and I said, girl, because
Wait, you had read all that? when you had text me, you only said this guy, but you didn't go into detail. I mean, literally everybody in this. He done named everybody. I mean, the
Every but
son.
girl,
That's too much. Miss Clayla said she need the link.
it. So here's the thing. I don't know if Cassie knew she was about to be the Moses of hip hop, because like she filed that lawsuit, and the Israelites they're coming out ever since.
Not
Do
the
you feel
Israel.
me?
Allegedly. Allegedly.
And it's not
Thank you.
even.
Thank you, Shania, for reminding us. Yes, allegedly. Allegedly.
And here's the thing.
Hmm.
Um, cancel. That's not. For some reason, I feel like cancel culture tends to just be like a talking point that people
Hmm.
have. I
Hmm.
don't think it actually exists necessarily, because I've never actually seen somebody be canceled and that is just the end of that. Never. Doesn't matter how awful they have been. Nobody has ever, I've never seen anybody that people supposedly canceled actually be canceled. Let's start there. Also, just because just because this is somebody who has created a bunch of
No,
music.
we don't need a case, and I'm not trying to go viral off of that. I'm good. We can stay, you know.
Touch Me, Tease Me might be my favorite song, but it is not my ministry. So no cases, thank you. But like I was saying, when it comes to this, I feel like when people be like, "Oh my gosh, y'all gonna cancel this person and this, that, and the other," it doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. My thing is, one, I don't feel like when I cancel somebody, I need to make that announcement. Like I just don't listen or don't pay attention to them anymore. Like there's nothing, I don't need to make an announcement that this is what I'm doing. Secondly, I'm very honest about like what cancel looks like. And for me, um it's not necessarily, oh, separate the art from the artist, because a lot of times the artist is what inspired that art. But I will say is, as long as you have not done something that is just absolutely egregious, like absolutely something that um delves into like the way that I see the world or things like that, I'm still gonna listen to your music, but I'm not listening to your new stuff. So I will listen to all the music that came before you did like these egregious things. With it's gonna be a little hard because canceling him, that is a lot of catalog that I
Yeah. And I was being funny because, like, at the end of the day, I think that the difference is, him as an artist, whatever. All the artists that was on the label, we're not going to cancel. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to, we can't get away from that. So I was being funny about that. But the scary thing is, at the end of the day, the same thing was said even with R. Kelly. There was enough people around that had to have seen, that had to know, that was okay with it because he was who he was. And it's going to be the same situation with this, as well as whoever else, they start finally coming out of the woodworks for, and it's just very sad. It's very scary. And I, just really wish that we would start having some better conversations, about this stuff that, that we kind of deal with and go on. And like the whole idea of like canceling anybody, like you said, is really not, because we bring more attention to that person anyway. But it is definitely a very interesting time to be alive. I'll say that.
and I just feel like, yeah, just be real. Like y'all be trying to say y'all cancel somebody just because other people have said it, and y'all know y'all on the low, like y'all still like are supporting them. people. That's why
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm very honest when it comes to how, like, when I'm done with somebody, I'm still gonna listen to the stuff that I liked
Mhm.
before they did whatever. Like when somebody that rap, that's a woman that's from New York, that be making music. Um
Allegedly from, you know.
no, she be making music.
No, I mean I should have said allegedly after from New York, but keep going.
I still listen to her old music. Have I listened to anything that has come
Hello,
out?
hello.
Have I listened to anything that has come out since the time that she did something that was just like, all right, this person is weird. Like, I don't like this. I haven't listened to anything new, but I still appreciate the old music. So
Hmm.
I'm not gonna stop listening to that because back then that person wasn't weird.
Yeah.
Like,
And at the end of the day, whether or not, they are or they not, a lot of times, music is is more than just that song. We might have
mhm,
enjoyed a song, we might like the beat, we might like the
mhm,
lyrics, but we also sometimes attach memories and it takes us back to a place, so it's not even really about the artist. It might not even really be about the song. It's just even like, okay, this is where I was at when this song came out. When we think about, even with the 50th year of hip hop and different events was happening, I think the excitement and everything that was around that was because it took us back to, for the older generation that remember when it first started, it took them back to that time. Maybe for my generation, it took me back to the time when I'm, growing up, and Eric B and all of them are coming on the scene. For y'all, it's, okay, remembering when Nicki Minaj and different people were coming out with the mixtapes. It's all those things that, was mixed up into one for whatever generation we grew up in, but it still gave us all that still excitement. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I think that, like, even just the idea, like going back to the award show, what I love about the idea of the Yo ATL raps is, it brought back that old feel of, of Yo MT raps when, when he does his show Street, shout out the Street Sweeper. And also they have like the new 106 in Park ATL here. So they're like bringing back some of the old stuff that we really enjoyed, because when you think about it, like as an artist, that was really like the pop off point for so many people, being able to go to a 106 in Park or to Rap City or to Yo MTV Raps. Like that's what got everyone around the world to know who you were. That was the first time I ever got to see Uncle Collins on TV, because they might not play Ghetto Boys music up north, but at least I got to see a video of him up north, because Yo MTV Raps was being played everywhere. And now that we don't have those things, it's like really just interesting, that you just wonder like what's coming new and what's, or whatever. But I really have, enjoyed this conversation with you. There's so much more that we have to talk about, but I'm definitely excited to, sit down next month with you again and really, kind of focus in on the mental health piece of it and March Madness, because like I said, that's already the title. I already know it. It's a lot of different things that we got going on next month. Again, if you have not voted for us, you can go to Yo ATL Raps page 2, vote for, beats per minute. But if you are in the area or want to come to the area, tickets are available. You can get your ticket on April 27th. We're going to party no matter what. It is a pajama jam, like house party too,
ain't
I
gonna
think.
hurt nobody.
But boss lady Victoria said ain't nobody wearing no lingerie, so you got, put some clothes on.
I
She
wasn't gonna
ain't,
do that
she ain't say that.
anyway.
No, I'm just saying because
Oh,
it's something that do. They gonna try anyway. I mean, we just gotta be honest. They wear it regular, so there's that. So anyway, thanks everybody that
oh,
came and
wait, one thing.
participated in the show. And before Tayrn goes with her thought, I just really want to thank everybody for their support, and I definitely appreciate you. And okay, Tayrn, what's up?
No, I was just thinking because one of the things I do actually want to do this year is actually design some of the merch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how I've been talking about like making the
Because
jacket.
we
Huh?
got merch coming. Because we got merch coming.
Okay.
Just in case y'all didn't catch that, we got merch coming. Okay, go ahead.
But like I was saying, you know how long I've been talking about like making those type of jackets, and
And I mean, and
I
like even your camouflage jacket is still like fire, like the one that you put together with the patches, and like you still get mad like compliments on your jacket.
so yeah, that would be nice. I do definitely want to like make those.
Okay, yeah. Sweaters, please. The crochet body. Cause I ain't gonna say no names, but I've been seeing a lot of really fly
But your
crochet
whispering
hats. I
is
even
terrible.
seen crochet sneakers, but I ain't saying no names on none of that. But yes, so yes, we do have merch coming. We definitely want to represent for the
Your
people.
whispering is the worst.
I know, that was the point of it. It was supposed to be worse. But yeah, anyway, um, we got a lot of good things coming. I'm excited. I'm very appreciative and thankful to have this platform and to open it up, for other people to come on. And very excited to see what's next and how we can really get things going in this space. And I really can't wait till we're all kind of able to kind of go out and do some events because I think that'll really be dope. But I'm just keep representing us all
Hold it down.
until
Hold it
then.
down.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, everybody, we appreciate you and we thank you again. Every Thursday you can catch us here at 7 p.m. Check out our social media pages, on Instagram. Um, I trying to be a little bit better about posting. But definitely, make sure to check out our Instagram and Facebook page. We have a lot of information that's going to be going up about the merch and just a lot of, more information about different health issues and health events and different things like that. And and you guys let us know in the comments. Like, what do you want to see on the show? Who would you like to
Yeah.
see on the show? Who would you love to hear us interview? And what's some of the topics that mean, that you feel like we need to address because you believe that we'll do it justice. Okay. So make sure to comment, whether the episode is over, the conversation isn't. So just, drop it down in the comments. All right, I think we're done.
All right.
Hello, little sister. How are you? Very proud of you and your accomplishments.